Harmony. Are you sure that's the name of the place?
Yeah, it's right here on the chart.
That's where Brian is sailing that boat back to that number 9 came down here to pick up. It's a small town on the coast of New England.
I remember Harmony.
Wait a second. What do you remember about Harmony? Did it spark something about your past?
I can't believe I ever thought that lowlife was my father. This place was my home.
Listen, why don't you guys get out of here? I'll tell Pilar you guys change your mind about the coffee.
Look, I'm not leaving while Teresa's not feeling well.
Look, you heard Whitney. Eve doesn't think there's anything seriously wrong with her. She's just checking her out to make sure. I'm positive she probably fainted because of all the stress and attention she's been under lately.
Exactly. Caused by that slime ball in there. Look, Sam, I'm with Ethan. I'm not leaving here till I find out that my sister is legally unmarried to that pig.
Well, look, it won't be long. As soon as Teresa comes back, she and Julian can sign the annulment papers and we can put this sorry episode behind us. I know how much you want to get on with your own wedding to Teresa.
Yeah, as soon as we can. You know, in fact, I'm gonna see if Julian and Harper are good to go. 'Cause I won't stand for any more delays. I'll come with you. Can convince Julian to expedite this whole business.
Teresa pregnant? It's impossible.
Is it? Are you going to stand there and tell me you remembered to use protection when you were drunk out of your mind on your wedding night to the girl?
Well, no, but there's no way in the world that she could be carrying my child, and I should fire you for even suggesting such a thing.
That's what I get paid to do, Julian. Raise and deal with any and all unsavory scenarios involving any member of this family.
What you've conjectured is out of the question. My God, the only reason I'm still breathing is because those two louts don't know that I slept with my nubile young bride. God, if Ethan and Luis even suspected what actually happened, they'd kill me toot sweet.
Why would we kill you, Julian?
I can't be pregnant. Wait, there has to be a mistake.
Teresa, don't do this to yourself. You had sexual intercourse with the man that you married in Bermuda, and now you're gonna have to face facts. You're pregnant with Julian Crane's baby.
I've got to find out what Teresa's hiding from my son. Oh, dear God. I'm gonna lose Ethan forever.
I would hold the hand of the one who could lead me places and kiss the lips of the one who could sing so sweet. And I would fly on the wings of the bird I knew could take me high as breathe in, breathe out. You keep me alive. You are the fire burning inside of me. You are my passion for life.
So what do you remember about Harmony, Diana? Have you ever been there?
Maybe you're starting to get your memory back.
Stranger things have been known to happen.
What do you remember?
Nothing. Not a darn thing.
But the way you reacted when you heard where Brian is headed, it was as if you recognized the name of the town.
That's what it felt like to me, too. It's as if I were in a dark room and finally someone turned on the lights, but now it's gone. It's dark again. I can't remember anything.
Well, maybe you should take a look at her, Doc.
Oh, why? I'm not sick.
She looks okay to me. I know it's discombobulating, but this type of thing is fairly common among amnesia victims. Sometimes a single picture or a word can trigger a strong reaction like the one Diana just had. Sorry to say, but more often than not, it doesn't lead to anything else. Oh, you'll excuse me? I'm being paged.
I didn't hear anything.
Doc is not paged in the usual way.
They don't use beepers up there. They have other ways of communicating.
I see. Harmony. Just that name tugs at me for some reason. Do either one of you know anything about this place?
Let's see. Beth wants her boat sailed back to Harmony? Harmony. Wonder if... like I said, it's a small town on the coast of New England.
That's this old, charming little town, picturesque, I guess you could call it. They have little white church steeples peeking out above the trees, and it's really nice there in the wintertime, especially when it snows. They have this wharf that juts right out into the Atlantic Ocean. I think a few years back they built a brand new courthouse right near the town square.
They built a new one?
Sounds to me like you remember the old one.
Well, I mean, I've spent my fair share of time in that kind of town. Don't they all pride themselves in the old architecture, especially the public buildings?
Seems to me Liz and Brian know more about this Harmony than they're letting on.
You both sound like you're familiar with the place. When Brian was describing it, you were nodding, Liz. Are you sure neither one of you have ever been to Harmony?
So what have you done now, Julian?
You want me to choke you again for tricking my sister into that twisted farce of a marriage? So help me God, Julian, if you have done anything else to her, you'd better spit it out now.
Just stop being so melodramatic. I was merely talking to Harper here about what might have been if cooler heads hadn't prevailed earlier.
Oh, Luis, we hope get off! Get off! Come on!
And Sam, thank you. If I didn't say
I didn't save your neck because of you, Julian. I just didn't want Ethan and Luis going to jail for your murder, and I still don't. Look, I loathe this worm as much as the two of you. There's no point in trying to get him to admit to anything to you. Let's look on the bright side. As soon as he and Teresa sign the annulment papers, none of us will ever have to look at his face again.
You're right. Let me make myself clear to you, Julian. I don't want you to go near my sister. You don't even talk to her. Do you understand me?
That was close.
But you're not out of the woods yet, Julian. If it turns out that your young bride is pregnant, Luis and Ethan won't rest until they see your name in the obits.
Why don't the two of you put some distance between yourselves and Julian? Cool off outside while waiting here for Teresa.
You'll come get us the second Dr. Russell's done with Teresa?
You have my word.
You mind if I ask you something?
My son, you can ask me anything.
Oh, it's just, my mother's so suspicious of Teresa, and she won't let it go.
I know.
Would you mind talking to her? Trying to get her to see that I wouldn't be with Teresa if she was the person my mother thought she was. She listens to you more than anyone.
Look, I'll do my best, but I can't promise you anything. You know how stubborn your mother is.
Tell me about it.
I'll do the best I can.
Thanks, Dad.
I can't be pregnant. I can't be pregnant.
Honey, I know how you feel, but you admitted that you slept with Julian down in Bermuda after he married you.
But I don't even remember it. No, this can't be happening. I can't be pregnant. No. No, it's all right. Dr. Russell, this isn't Julian's baby.
I don't understand.
Okay, well, there's something that I never told anyone. See, Ethan and I, we slept together before I went to Bermuda. See, we made love before we were supposed to be married. This is his baby. I'm carrying the baby of the man I love.
good girl and spill your guts to Dr. Russell.
Of course you'd rather be pregnant by Ethan. But if you had sex with Julian during the same cycle, honey, the
Dr.
baby
Russell.
could still be his.
Please, don't you hear what I'm saying? That this is not Julian's baby. It can't be.
And you don't have to visit a place to know what it's like.
But the way you described the steeples and the wharf.
Maybe I saw a postcard of it somewhere.
How did you know about the new courthouse then?
That's a good point. Maybe I read about it. I don't know. You know what? I know what it is. I probably passed through there on one of my skiing trips. They're known for their snow up that way.
That's probably how I ran across it, too. I used to ski when I lived in the States.
I don't know if I've ever owned a pair of skis, much less why the name Harmony sounds so familiar to me. You know what? I'm just gonna go take a walk and clear the cobwebs. I'll see you later.
If you think I'm going to ask you about the town of Harmony, I'm not. We have an unwritten agreement here on the island not to ask each other about each other's past, and I'm not going to break it. That's that. You don't ask me about my past, I won't ask you about yours.
Deal. Let's just get back to the instructions for sailing the boat back there.
By the way, what's the name of that lady that owns that boat?
Wallace. Beth Wallace.
Beth?
Do you know her?
Harmony. Skiing. Maybe that's how I know about the town, too.
21, 36, 48, hey!
Hey! Okay. I'm not so sure about you making the team.
Well, the only team I want to be on is yours. Why can I picture the face of the man I loved so clearly? Maybe he has some connection to Harmony.
Hey, did you know my father built this gazebo?
Yeah, Sheridan told me. She said this was one of her favorite spots on the estate.
Yeah. We had some good times here. I'm not so sure about you making the team.
Well, the only team I want to be on is yours.
Still strong as the day my father built it, you know?
You still don't know what happened to him, do you?
Yeah, well. Got ideas.
You think Julian and Alistair had something to do with him disappearing?
No doubt about it. Oh, you don't think so?
I'm not saying that. It's just, in all the years that I was included in family and business discussions, I never got a hint that they were behind his disappearance. No, they never even mentioned Martin Fitzgerald.
Really?
Luis, I tell you if they had.
Look, I believe you. And if I haven't told you lately, I am sorry for misjudging you for all those years.
Look, it's not your fault. If I were in your shoes, I would have hated anyone who carried the Crane name. I'm just glad it's not my name anymore.
Yeah. Well, and I'm glad that you and Teresa are finally gonna be able to get married. Ethan, I couldn't ask for a better brother-in-law.
It goes both ways. No, and now that Teresa's secrets out in the open. I just think we should bury the bad and get on with the good. I just hope Sam can bring my mother around so she backs off Teresa once and for all.
Speak up! I can't hear what they're saying. Oh, what are you doing? Sam. Oh, Sam, Oh.
What the hell do you think you're doing?
Well, if you must know, I was trying to protect our son from making the biggest mistake of his life.
By eavesdropping on a private conversation between a doctor and her patient?
The patient is Teresa. Oh, a woman who has already broken Ethan's heart countless times. She is keeping something from him. Sam, I am going to find out what it is before Ethan makes a huge mistake and marries her.
And I will tell you another reason why I know this baby I'm carrying is not Julian's.
Teresa.
No, really. Dr. Russell, I know it in my heart. See, I believe what's meant to be will be. Now, fate wouldn't have led me on this far if it didn't want Ethan and me to end up together. It wouldn't be so cruel as to let me be pregnant with Julian's child when I made love to Ethan before that. No. If I am pregnant, it's definitely Ethan's baby. I'm sure of it.
Oh, Teresa, I hope so, for everyone's sake.
Did you see the look in Ethan's eyes? I swear, if Sam had not been here, Ethan would have lunged at me.
He's upset, Julian. You married his fiancée.
Oh, God, imagine what he'd do if he found out that we slept together.
Or worse, that she's carrying your progeny.
Would you stop saying that? Teresa cannot be pregnant. Only rabbits and soap opera characters get knocked up from doing it once.
That's all it takes, Julian, is once.
Oh, thank you for that pearl, Harper. Oh, there's one good thing. With Sheridan gone, Luis won't be snooping around the estate anymore.
Oh, you're all heart, Julian. Doesn't it bother you that you murdered your own sister?
I did not murder her. I simply paid some people to take care of things. In any case, Sheridan is gone. Luis will not be snooping into Crane affairs anymore. He'll never find out what really happened to his father.
Father planted this rose bush for my mother, and then it became a symbol of mine and Sheridan's love, too.
Yeah, she told me that, too.
I miss her so much.
So do I. I can't imagine what it's like for you.
You know, when I was down in St. Lisa's Island, and before Beth came down and told me everything with Teresa and Julian, Sheridan, it's like she was there. She was nearby, alive.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's normal. I mean, it's right next to Bermuda. That's where you were last with Sheridan.
It's only part of it. Ethan, it's like she was alive. It's like every time I turned around, I expected to run into her, you know? What? Am I losing my mind?
No, I don't think you're losing your mind. Look, you two were like soulmates. You know, everyone who knew you could see that. It's as if you've lost part of yourself since you lost her. Look, but if there's one thing I believe, it's that even death, you know, can't break a connection of love that strong between two people. Look, what you felt down there, Luis, was Sheridan's spirit, which will always be with you.
Maybe.
We both want her back, but we know that's not going to happen. Intellectually, we both know.
Yeah, I know. You know, I know it in my head. My heart is not buying any of it.
You haven't answered my question. Do you know this Beth that owns a boat?
All I said was her name.
Yeah, but you said it like you knew who she was. I mean, that's a mighty big coincidence. You're knowing someone in a town that you only pass through on your way to go skiing?
You know, it is a coincidence, isn't it? If I knew her.
Right. If you knew her. Okay. So, when do you want to set sail? Beth wants this boat back in Harmony ASAP. That's why she sent her friend down here to retrieve it.
You mean the guy in number 9? You never did tell me his name.
Probably because I can never remember his name. Called him number 9 if I called him anything at all. I don't know, it was something with an L. Les, Louis.
Not Luis.
Yeah, I think that was it. How'd you come up with that?
No reason. Lucky guess, that's all. No way. It couldn't be.
This is the last time I'm gonna tell you, Ivy. Stop harassing Teresa.
I'm not harassing anyone. I'm just trying to protect my son, our son. You should be thanking me for doing everything I can to keep Ethan from making this monumental mistake.
I wonder if that was your father's rationalization when he tried to keep us apart all those years ago.
You can't compare the two situations. They're completely different.
Oh, how's that, Ivy? You and I were in love with each other, and your father felt he knew better.
But my father's fears were unfounded. He was a snob. He just didn't want his daughter to marry outside of her class. I don't despise Teresa because she's from the wrong side of the tracks, Sam. I despise her because she is a deceitful liar.
That's not how Ethan sees her. Sure, Teresa's made some errors in judgment, but from what I can gather, they've been made out of love. Apparently, she's resolved to be completely honest with Ethan from now on.
Yeah, right. Well, if you believe that one...
Look,
then
it's not up to us to believe it or not. It's up to Ethan and Teresa. They both love each other with all their hearts. Same way we used to feel about one another. Don't play God, Ivy. You could be taking away Ethan's chance at happiness. Same way your father, Alistair, and Julian took away mine with you.
Teresa, I am not trying to put a damper on your high hopes about the baby.
Oh, no, Dr. Russell, it's okay. You don't have to be careful with me. I am positive that the baby I'm carrying is Ethan's. It's not Julian's.
Okay. Then you won't mind me asking you a couple of questions.
No, of course not.
Okay. Now, you were planning on using birth control before you and Ethan got married.
I did. I started before Ethan and I made love, before what was supposed to be a wedding night.
Okay, and when the wedding didn't happen and you followed Julian down to Bermuda, and then you were still using your pill then.
I mean, it was so crazy, you know? I mean, Ivy crashed the car into the church, and then Ethan deciding, you know, not to marry me. I just wanted to get out of town. I wanted to go to Bermuda and convince Julian to take Ethan back into the family.
Teresa, you are not answering my question, honey. Now, were you still taking the pill when you had sex with Julian?
No. I wasn't. I wasn't on birth control.
And you were when you made love to Ethan.
It's my baby. This baby inside me, it can't be Ethan's. It's Julian's. God. My life is over.
Luis? Beth? No, it can't be.
What's going on with you?
Changed my mind, Liz. You're gonna have to find somebody else to sell that boat back to the States. I'm not gonna do it.
It's the name Harmony making me remember these things. Could I have some sort of connection to the town? If I do, what is it?
Is that how you see it? That my father took away your chance of happiness with me?
Now, if he hadn't interfered, made you believe that I didn't love you, we could have eloped, had children, had a life with one another.
That's all I ever wanted.
Sure, we would have gone through some rough patches, just like any married couple. But we loved each other. We could have found a way to work through them. If you'd only stayed with me, night after Ethan was conceived.
You know, Julian and Alistair, I just didn't know what to do, Sam.
Sure, would have been the scandal of the century, but who cares? We would have had each other. Doesn't matter now. It's not what happened, and we both know there's no point in what ifs. You made a life with yourself with Julian, and I made mine with Grace. A life I wouldn't change for anything in the world. Now, Ethan is a grown man. You've got to let him make his own decisions.
Not if I know he is walking into something that will break his heart. Sam, I know what is best for him.
The same way you knew what was best for him when you pretended Julian was his father for all those years. That well-intentioned manipulation blew up in your face the same way this one will if you keep doing what you're doing. How do you think Ethan will feel about you if you keep spying on the woman he loves for the sole purpose of destroying her relationship with him? Now think about it, Ivy. If you put Ethan in a position where he has to pick between you and Teresa, which one do you think he'll choose?
You're right. Pregnant with Julian's baby. Les, what if the test that you just ran on me was wrong?
Well, that's highly unlikely, Teresa. The tests are 99% accurate.
Then 1 out of 100 times is wrong. You know, maybe I'm worrying for nothing and I'm not pregnant at all. That's possible, isn't it?
Yes, I suppose. I did run the test in a hurry.
Then that's it then. 1% who gets a false reading is wrong. Well, then we'll just take another test right now, and that will prove that I am not pregnant at all.
What happened? A few minutes ago, you were all ready to set sail back to the States.
Changed my mind, that's all. You know, it would have been one thing if Diana had wanted to join me, but she backed out. And I don't want to be away from her that long.
Anything for our Diana.
Hey, I haven't made it a secret the way I feel about her. Right now, my main drive is to convince her to at least just give me a shot. And that's going to be a little hard to do when I'm sailing some rig up the eastern seaboard.
Brian, is that the only reason you don't want to visit Harmony?
Isn't that enough?
No, wait, now, I saw your face when I mentioned Beth Wallace's name. And you came up with the name of the guy in number 9 all by yourself. Do either one of them have anything to do with why you don't want to sail that boat back? Or is there someone else there that you don't want to see?
Remember when we were running around Bermuda? We thought that Julian was with Teresa?
Yeah. I haven't thought about that much with everything that's happened lately.
Yeah.
You don't think Teresa was...
No. No, no way. Teresa was in her own room. She was trying to sleep off the horrible realization that she'd married Julian. And I think that Julian, only hours after marrying my sister, Seduce some local girl.
Not to mention that he just divorced my mother.
Right?
A woman who put up with his infidelity for years. I don't think I've met anyone as sleazy as Julian.
That makes two of us.
I can't believe that I ever got upset when I found out I wasn't his son. That's the best thing that ever happened to me.
No argument there.
At least I know it's not in my genes to be unfaithful. I promise you, Louise, I'm going to spend the rest of my life treating your sister with love and respect. That's the least I can do, since she told me that she'll never keep a secret from me again.
How many bullets have I dodged in the last month, Harper?
I couldn't possibly count that high without my calculator.
The Teflon mogul does it again. Escapes the wrath of Deputy Dog Luis and my ex-son and heir, Ethan. They almost caught me in bed with Teresa down in Bermuda, but I thwarted their suspicions then, and I'm doing it again. Those two saps will never know that I slept with their precious Teresa.
You better hope your luck holds out, Julian, because if Ethan and Luis find out that you took advantage of Teresa, you're a dead man.
Where the hell is Teresa? As soon as she gets here and signs those annulment papers, the sooner I can forget this whole bloody chapter in my life.
Your point is well taken, Sam. But I am still Ethan's mother, and I cannot sit by and watch him make a mistake that I truly believe will ruin his life.
That's what I don't buy. I've known Teresa since she was a child. Sure, she's young and impetuous, but her heart's in the right place. She's a good girl. And I don't believe for a minute that Ethan needs protection from her.
How can you say that? He is so blinded by love, he can't see what's right in front of his face.
Give him credit, Ivy. I'm not sure I'll ever get over you're not telling me I was Ethan's father. For keeping me out of his life for so long. But I gotta admit, you've done a wonderful job raising him.
Thank you.
No, it wasn't easy when he was surrounded by such cold, manipulative role models as Julian and Alistair.
It wasn't. But I tried to teach him the values I knew that you would have instilled in him.
Well, you succeeded. Ethan's a fine young man. So give him the respect that he's due. Let him manage his own life. He can make his own decisions, including whether or not he wants to marry Teresa.
How much longer, Dr. Russell?
The results of the second test will be ready soon.
Why did I have to go down to Bermuda after Julian in the first place?
You were trying to help Ethan.
Can you believe that one simple act could have been the biggest mistake of my life? Not that I'm worried, because I would know it if I was pregnant, and you know what? I am sure that I'm not.
Well, the test is ready. So we'll find out for sure.
Are you telling me the truth? Do you really want to stay here just to be with Diana, or is there some other reason you don't want to go to Harmony? Is it this Beth or that guy Luis?
Okay. I've been thinking.
An excellent idea. If more people used their noggins, they wouldn't end up in the Bermuda Triangle.
Diana, what were you about to say?
Well, this town Harmony has some kind of hold on me. It's like I'm being drawn to it.
What do you mean exactly?
Well, don't get mad at me. But I've changed my mind. I want to sail back there with you.
I gotta stop obsessing about Sheridan. I don't know why that I can't start moving on.
Louise, don't be so hard on yourself. You loved her with all your heart. I understand that. I feel the same way about your sister.
I'm glad that Teresa has you.
Look, I'm gonna go check on her. You know, Dr. Russell's taking way too long if everything's all right. The sooner I get Teresa off these grounds, the happier I'll be. I can't wait to forget that Julian had any connection to her.
Now, has anything I've said gotten through to you?
Yes, yes. Ethan's a fine young man. I know I can trust his judgment.
Good. I didn't realize what time it was.
You're not leaving, are you?
No, I said I'd stay until the annulment papers are signed, and I will. I just have to call the station house. Can I count on you not to eavesdrop on Teresa again?
Yes. You have my word. Sorry, Sam. I know I can trust Ethan's judgment. But Teresa? Not as far as I can throw her. I know she's hiding something. And I'm going to find out what it is.
The results are in, Teresa, and this time there's no room for doubt.
What does this mean?
This test came out positive, too. You're definitely pregnant.
Tell me this isn't happening.
I'm so sorry, honey.
God, I'm pregnant. With Julian Crane's baby.